Good day, podcast community. Oops, I have it off. Good day, podcast community. I'm Pete Kane, alias Podcast Pete. Thank you for being here. Now, desire versus design. Desire versus design. What's the difference? Now, if you have a desire for something, like if I desire to be an NBA player, if I desire to be a professional golfer, if I desire to be at those levels, and I'm 67, which I am, the chances of me, just because I have a strong desire, are slim and none getting there. And you always hear of anything's possible. Yes, anything is possible. But you have to understand design. Design is a system, is exact path of getting there. And if you have the design, instead of like, okay, I have a strong desire to play in the NBA. I ain't going to get there. But maybe if I'm 15 years old and I'm a great athlete, I'm in a system that will allow me a path to get there. My hard work could get me there. So I want you to think about design. Design can be a system. So for me, I had a desire. I had a digital marketing business. Then I had a stroke. Everything changed. Wasn't able to do that anymore. I had to come up with a different plan. I had to look at still having a desire, but I had to look at a different design, different strategy, different system. That first off was getting back to eat, to walk, and still 3 years later, and I'm an avid golfer. I used to play 5 days a week. I'd wake up in the morning, I'd think about strategy on that golf course, hooking up with the buddies, finishing my work, and just driving out there, what we called, I think it was called, let me think, coming in hot, meaning no warm ups, just get on the first tee because you're trying to build a digital marketing business, which probably gave me a stroke, but that's a side different. That's a story for another day. But anyway, all of a sudden, I have to come up with a different design. I have to figure, okay, I'm 64 at the time. What am I going to do? First off, I got to get back to where I can eat. I can do all the normal functions that most of us just assume. Got to be able to walk again. Got to be able to do basic things, survival. You survive, and then you have to learn how that different, like whatever the tragedy is, take a tragedy in your life. And now you're having to come up with a different design. You're having a different strategy. We are now getting in to, and let me go back before I jump into this. Let me go back to, I have a digital marketing business. Obviously, can't do it anymore, or at least anytime soon. But I chose not to do it because it was just too fast moving pace. I mean, every time you get a strategy, Google would change an algorithm. Then you'd have to almost start over. Yeah, there were some basic things you could do, but it was just always changing. And I'm a strategist. I like design. I like a system. I like a strategy. And so that was not a good one. So I was always just playing catch up. So let's go. You have the stroke. You have a tragedy in your life, and it totally flips your life. What's your design now? What's your strategy? What are you going to do? And so podcasting became my new strategy, new design. So to be the best I can, well, once I learned how to talk, I could get back into talking. And because I wasn't a writer, growing up dyslexic, ADD, weird combination, I'd misspell. If I had to spell 5 words, I'd misspell 3 of them. So that was part of how I had to live. Try to send an email and misspell 10 words. This is before spell check, way back. But then technology caught up. I voice to text everything. Voice to text. I use Siri. I use Alexa. I use it all the time to spell words. So I had to find a different design, a different system. Oops, something just came on in the background there. So what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter your desire. Everybody has a desire to succeed, but do you have a system? Do you have a strategy? Because that's all desire is really getting down to what is your system. So for us in our business, the first thing it is an assessment. And let me go to right here. So assessment is kind of like an assessment and waiting lists are two cousins. But you start the journey. So if you're in business and you don't know what people's desire, pain, whatever, how are you going to help them? You don't know if you can, if you don't assess them. So Daniel Priestley, write that name down. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes. Daniel Priestley has a score app, and it's basically assessment and waiting lists. And the cool thing about this is if you're going to scale your business, if you're going to have you have the desire is to work hard, and you want the system or the design, then we have the design for you. Take the assessment right now. Go ahead and take it. Go to PeteKane.me, take that assessment. Because if you're not looking to scale your business, as you're listening to this is in December of 24. Okay. When we get into next year, holy mackerel, it's going to move so fast. If you don't embrace a system, you don't embrace AI, which is the 9th one of our 10 steps, you're going to be left behind. Period. The assessment and listening to Daniel Priestley will give you the opportunity to understand why the assessment is so important, why a waiting list is so important. And a waiting list is just, you're basically have a capacity of production. And when you have a capacity, you have price flexibility. When you are a commodity, you just have unlimited capacity. And that's why if you listen to Daniel Priestley, he'll use this example. So thank you, Daniel, for giving it to us. If I want to fly to LA and I want to buy a ticket on the airline, I can do it pretty much right up to the time I'm going. Now, I pay a little bit more at the last minute than I do a couple weeks out, but there's unlimited capacity as long as there's a seat on the plane. If there's not a seat on the plane, I ain't getting on the plane because I'm not going to I'm not going to fly on the wing. So I say that to say your business needs to have a waiting list. And a waiting list can test things. If somebody doesn't pay something, they're not serious about doing business with you. Till somebody votes with their dollar, it's just a wish. Somebody say, oh, that's a great idea. Are you willing to pay for that great idea? If they say no, then it's just a great idea and they're not serious about doing anything. So if somebody's not serious about giving you money, then they're not serious about having you solve their problem. It's only until somebody pays for something. And a waiting list allows you to test whether you have something good. And when people pay, and when you look at waiting lists, the Cybertruck, everybody's familiar with that. It's been out for a little bit. When Elon came up with the Cybertruck, it was 3 years out. People paid $100 to get on a waiting list. He had 1 million people. That was $100 million. He goes to one of the banks and says, I got $100 million and I got 1 million people ready to buy. Would you loan me this money to build a factory in Vegas or in Nevada? And then he did. So he used a waiting list to see who's interested. And they're only interested until they put $100 down. Now, that's the way you want to think about your business. Have a waiting list. If you look at Rolex, if I want to buy a Rolex today, not that I have one or not that I've tried, but through Daniel Priestley, I'm gonna leverage my story on him. I can't just go out and buy it. They carefully have capacity, and everything's around really that experience, and the capacity is part of the experience. So you got to get on a waiting list. That's why people pay the kind of money to get a Rolex, because it isn't easy to get. Now, you're probably thinking, well, I'll just go to eBay and buy one. Yeah, you can, but if you go to an authorized jeweler, you're not walking into that jeweler and saying, I want that Rolex. You got to get on a waiting list. So, if you want to scale your business, this is the first of 10 steps. Now, what I'm going to give you, the assessment, that's one, and I'm going to give you our masterclass because I want you to have our ecosystem, our 10 steps. Number 9 is AI by Jeff Bourgeois. Search him, look him up on LinkedIn, see what he has. Big Thinker Universe. And so he has a free course, free. Let me go. Let me see if I might be able to. Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, I'm really giving you some freebies today. Okay. I can't get to it. Maybe I can before it's over. But if you just put the word AI in place of masterclass, you can get his free course. That way you can start to understand it. Because if you're at a place where you've been hearing about AI, but you don't know where to start, take the free course. Start with us, do the assessment. Check out the masterclass, free. You don't have to even give me an email, a name, just giving you a gift. So, assessment and waiting list. That's the first of 10 steps. 10 steps to scale and grow your business, because we have 3 avatars. You got to know who you're going after. You can't be trying to service everybody. So entrepreneurs that want to grow and scale their business by 10x, and it takes a different mindset to grow by 10x than it is just barely grow. So if somebody says, I want to just grow my business by 10%, they're not our people. You have to want to grow and scale your business by 10x. And to do that, you have to have the right mindset. So we give away a course, and that course is goals, mindset, and habits. But that's a little separate here. But here's the key thing to think is if you want to grow and scale, now's the time. I wouldn't wait 1 minute, because waiting on this transformation, it would be like, I don't think electricity is going to be the thing. And I don't really think so. I'm going to still have candles. And then, bingo, it happens and the world changes. And the world's going to change here. It's going to change and it's going to transform so fast. If you're not aware of how it can work with your business, as the movie says, you're going to be left behind. Home Alone, I forget that guy. You're going to be left behind, and you don't want to be left behind. This major transition. Look, we have, I'm not going to get into a political part here, but we have the Trump train as out of the station. Man, it was tough getting out of that station over the last 4 years because, man, we're going to be glad when we turn this corner. And I want you to get on the cane train. And so, get the masterclass, take my assessment, and then you can see we give you so much for free, and we have a way for you to grow and scale your business. So assessments, step number one. So thank you so much. Share this with people you think want to grow and scale their business. Or our second avatar is nonprofits that want to grow and scale their business for greater impact in their community. And the third avatar is business corporate professionals. Because if you're 20 years, 30 years with a company, you're making good money. Try to leave that company. It doesn't transfer because you get your skill set up with one company. Then when you want to leave, and then sometimes you're forced to leave because they're going to be downsizing like crazy. And you're going to want to do something. You're not going to sit around. You're going to want to do something. So that's who we service. So one, businesses that want to grow and scale their business by 10x. Two, nonprofits that want to grow and scale their business by 10x and greater impact on their community. And three, corporate professionals that want a plan. And you better have a plan coming into 2026, 25, excuse me. Oh, I don't want to skip next year because it's going to be transformational for you if you take advantage of it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being with us. Have a wonderful day. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. Be bold, make an impact, and have fun. PK.